beat. What is it's the radioactive poppy, Danny Limelight.
Radioactive poppy back around me, who can best strike? Wanna ring it at your door, knew you'll never vice is gone, leaving bodies on the floor. Slap your face before I take a hand down, danger, danger, catch a spade anytime I take
It is the radioactive poppy himself, the Squish, the Bird, Marcus Gray, the villain, 815. Let's get it. Go ahead.
Wheel snipe Sally, boys.
Dirty fucking Daniels, boy!
We're on the air right now. Ladies and gentlemen, the highly anticipated, thank you for joining the Bird and the villain. Well, the Bird flew the coop, obviously, so he's letting me go. But Squishtradamus herself, top rope Squish Maddy in the building with, oh my God, he's right there. Who is he? Who is it?
One and the only Danny Limelight, the radioactive poppy. We got to talk about you.
How y'all doing, baby?
We
good. Oh my God.
You're from New York.
Yep.
You're from Brooklyn.
Right.
I lived there for a few years. I know how it's like. Danny, let's talk about your history, Danny. You are the current UWN Tag Team Champion for the Bodega Tag Team with
the Bodega.
Shout out for 177 days. Yeah, that's right. Shout outs.
177 days? Damn.
107. You know me, I do my research.
I didn't even know that. So that's dope. I know we got 7 successful title defenses.
Yes.
I mean, that's what I want to beat everybody, every team.
Right.
Send them.
You have to. We're waiting for that. You were also the GCF SoCal champion for 280 days.
Yep.
You have won multiple awards from SoCal Uncensored from 2016 to recently 2020. Went from 6th place, I believe, to 1st place. Yep.
Right. 2020 SoCal Wrestler of the Year, 2020 Most Outstanding Wrestler of the Year. I'm still waiting for my plaques to come in the mail. I haven't received any of that stuff, though.
Send him his plaque.
Send me my shit.
Oh my God.
Shout out to the SoCal Uncensored team. Y'all do amazing work for the SoCal wrestling team. I appreciate y'all.
Shout out.
I was champions, championships in a lot of companies and stuff like that. And that's all fun and dandy, but I'm about the work. I'm a workhorse, I'm about the towns I make, the companies I wrestle for, the people I'm wrestling, the matches I'm having. That's what matters the most to me.
Well, Danny, you definitely have wrestled in a lot of promotions: NJPW, FSW, XWA, AEW,
definitely.
Impact. I mean, it goes on and on.
The beat goes on. He's faced many a name. He's faced the John Moxleys. He's faced the Evil Unos. He's faced the Jungle Boys. Matter of fact, you faced Ray Phoenix, right?
Yeah, and Kenny Omega twice.
Stop! He's already dead.
Consistent. Danny, you have a fluidity about you that's not just I can't even call you a straight lucha artist because your record speaks for itself. You always say outwork everybody, and especially for Latino wrestlers, you're setting the stick. You can watch your matches. That's the crazy thing. And it's not the same. You faced horses, you faced lucha, you faced them all, but your fluidity, you adapt. I mean, how's that like going into every match and you switch it up every time people watch his matches, man? I'm saying.
It's like, man, Tony Montana said the world is yours.
Dig it.
And so shout out to Al Pacino, what I'm saying, Tony Montana. He was a street hero for all the street rat kids growing up in the ghetto, and the sirens and shit like that.
Oh, I heard that.
Don't worry.
For me, it's always been about being a Swiss Army knife, having all the tools and shit. G Fox, what up, baby?
Right.
Having all the tools that you need, what I'm saying? If I'm in the ring with the Ray Phoenix, let's go lucha for lucha. Let's chop for chop. If I'm in the ring with Kenny Omega, let's do it all. If I'm in there with John Moxley, we have the strong style, American style, If I'm on New Japan Strong, we fighting, So, we're Team Filthy and stuff like that. For me, it's always been just being able to work with everybody, being able to have an amazing match with anybody, being able to make anybody else look good while I look good. Show up, show out. It's still the show, that's always been my mission is to just stand out, have amazing matches, keep the people talking. And I think that, you know, one thing that I loved when I was coming up in the wrestling business was how everybody talked about the amazing Reds, you know, like the guys that kind of innovated things for the newer generation of wrestling. And for me, it's like, I'm 5'8", 175 pounds, right?
Right.
I just want to be 5 to 10 years from now, someone's inspiration when they're just coming up in the business. You know, I want to watch a Danny Limelight match, see something innovative he's done. You know, he used to do all types of crazy stuff. Because if you watch my matches, they're never the same. You know, I always have different moves. Right. I use the ropes very differently than everybody else uses the ropes. I fly differently than people fly. I strike differently.
You ain't never lie.
I grapple differently. I'm very different. You know,
you're adaptable.
Yes,
right.
I wrestle with anybody. I can do any style, and I think that a lot of people claim to be hybrid wrestlers and stuff like that, but I do it. You know, and I think that when you look at the matches that I've had, even this last year, you know, it was a breakout year for me. I try to take the wrestling world by storm, and you know, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done, but it's been awesome, man. I've been very fortunate and blessed to have all the opportunities that AEW gave me, that New Japan gave me, United Wrestling Network and David Marquez gave me, you know, and I'm sure there's bigger things coming, other things happening for me. So it's just one of those, you know, one of those things you got to ride the wave.
And you riding it.
If I can, Papito, dígalo. Wrestle Code.
Yes.
That just happened, bro. Like Danny, that just happened, homie. Yeah. How's that? No, you gotta tell me, bro. Dígame, pa. How's that feel? What is that like, man?
I want to give a shout out to Tim Hicks. He's a old family friend.
Right.
He is a huge wrestling fan.
Right.
And matter of fact, he had, like, when I first had my Evolve tryout and stuff like that, he had paid for me to have the Evolve tryout and shit. Because I was, you know, before I came up, I was homeless. I was grinding hard. My fiance had just left me before I moved into a new house. You know, my daughter was living with her mom's. Like, so shit was, you know, hard for me. I was getting out of the military after 10 years, you know, and essentially, like, he paid for my Evolve tryout. You know, he was a supporter. And so when WrestleCode started really releasing the info about the games and stuff like that, you know,
right,
he would always tag me. Oh, we need to get Danny Limelight in the game. We need to get that, you know, like all that stuff. And I'm sure Virtual Basement was annoyed already by all these messages that he was sending them. You know? And that was completely like on his own.
Right.
But Virtual Basement, you know, they're dope. I had contacted them. I sent them my stuff. We had been talking for a while, you know, and kind of got put on pause for a little bit. And then, you know, just they made the announcement. And we had already talked. We were talking about me doing the motion capture, you know, because I have a background in stunts. I've done mocap work. I've done mocap work for, you know, a few things I can't say right now because the game hasn't really been released yet. So, you know, when we were talking that talk, you know, that I was like, okay, yeah, I want to be in the game 100%. But I want to do the motion capture too, you know. So they just announced it. It was super exciting to be part of it. And yeah, I hope Tim's happy because I know he really wants to see me in the game.
I can't wait to see it.
I want to see it.
I'm excited to see, you know.
I want to see it. I couldn't believe that just happened. You know, that was a big deal. And you and Maddy both got, I feel like, you know, I love it. I feel a little bit extra sazon my way because there's a lot of flavor here. There's a lot of that style. And I'm not mad at it.
You got the Puerto Rican. You got the
I'm just saying. I'm not mad at it.
Mixture here of Latino power here. Danny.
And you're an inspiration in other ways because from a personal standpoint, like I'm a father myself. My daughter is 7. She's from that level right there. Like when you talk, like, it's unbelievable. Your dedication is there. Like one thing, I know a good dad, bro. And I'm not trying to pump you up or nothing. I'm keeping it grizzy. Yeah. Like, I know a good dad. So I have to ask you, man, your wrestling, your passion, your military career, which is decorating. Thank you again for your service, bro. Yes, what does that do for your daughter when you wake? Is that grinding for you? Is that here? Does she push you?
Oh man, like she's my why. You know, like I remember 2012, I started a network marketing business, and they talked about, you know, what's your why? What's your why? And like, I didn't stick with the business long. And network marketing is just not my thing. I don't have any hate against people who do it, you know. Right. But the most important thing that stuck for me was like finding your why. In 2012, I didn't have a why. I just wanted to make a lot of money and wild out, you know. And when I had my daughter, you know, when I found out my daughter's mom was pregnant, I wanted it to be a boy. You know, we all want boys, you know what I'm saying? But like when my daughter was born, and, you know, I'm in the delivery room holding her mom's leg and I'm cutting the umbilical cord. And like, you know, my daughter's there. Like, that's my why. Like,
That's beautiful.
She's like no other child I've ever met. She's smart. She's advanced. She made a lot of money on her own last year with her commercials and her short films that she was booking because she's an actor too. You know, and it's about breaking generational cycles for me. You know, I need to strive to work hard and grind so my daughter can see that if you follow your dreams and you work hard for it, anything's possible. My teachers told me when I was a kid I couldn't be a professional wrestler, that you couldn't make a career out of that. So now when she goes to school and her teachers tell her, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, she's going to be like, okay, miss. But in her head, she's going to know that she could because her dad is following his dreams. His dad, you know, left a 10-year career in the military to run around on TV in his underwears, you know, and she's already doing that. At 7 years old, you know, like at 7 years old, she's on TV. She's on McDonald's commercials. She's on cereal commercials. She starred in a short film where she played a possessed little girl. She's in other little short projects here and there. And
I told you, Marcus, that she's an actor.
But Maddy, that's a lot. Wow.
Yeah, I do acting. I write. I produce my own short films. I'm in commercials. I'm in films. I did all the stunts in John Morrison's Speed of Time film, and you know, it's just been just rocking in my family. You know, and like as a single father, you know, it's important to me to work my ass off so that my daughter can see that, and as long as I'm being a good man for my daughter, that's all that matters.
Beautiful. That is beautiful. Danny, so why did you join the Marines in the beginning? I know it's a long question. You've probably been asked a million times. Yeah. But I'm actually really curious to know.
Those are people that seen the Paul White interview on AEW's Rising Stars. Like, kind of heard the story a little bit. But, like, what happened, I was a street rat kid. You know, I played baseball and I boxed. And baseball was like the one that really consumed my life. I played it in high school as a freshman. I was playing varsity. Hold on, Sammy Callahan's giving me a call right now. Let me just tell him, give him a second.
Hey, it's a business. Take the call.
Hey, I ain't mad at you, man. Go ahead on.
I told him I call him back. That's the OG Sammy, my Warzone buddy.
Nice.
But like it was shit. I got sidetracked. So I was playing baseball and like literally, you know, I had got kicked out of 2 schools. I was in my third. I went to my 3rd school. Like I was a senior. And they already had their baseball team, so they wasn't gonna cut their shortstop to put me in. You know what I'm saying? So there was no scholarship for me. There was no future. I didn't have anything planned. You know, I didn't even know what the military was. I didn't know the difference between the Marine Corps and the Army or the Navy and the Air Force. You know, it was just I didn't want to do that. So I ended up meeting a kid that told me that he'd give me a slice of pizza. He'd get me a slice of pizza if I went with him to this recruiting station to help him get points. And so, you know, we showed up. I walk in and I see this Marine Corps staff sergeant dressed, you know, professionally. And he looks at me and I have my pants sagging and I'm in a T-shirt or whatever, you know, and he's like, no, he can't be a Marine. Get out of my office, go to the Army.
Right.
And so that was like the first time that I heard jokes between the Marine Corps and the Army of the Marine Corps is better and stuff like that. And like, I never wanted to be in the military. So he told me to go join the Army. And here I am, like walking across to the Army's office now. And that was just a testament of how professional he was and how, you know what I'm saying? Like I respect him. I've seen him, you know? I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to go walk to the Army now. Like,
just some random dude told you to.
Yeah. I'm walking to the Army recruiting station. There's this Army soldier comes out. And he has a cigarette in his mouth and his hand in his pocket. And he's in camouflage. And to me, it's just like, and I'm not taking shots at the Army, so I don't know if I get offended. Marine Corps is 100% better than the Army in every other branch, in every way possible, I think. That's just from my experience with working with Army, experience working with the Navy, you know, in joint operations and things like that. The Marine Corps is just different. But I see this soldier, and I'm like, this is what he envisions when he sees me. You know, cigarette smoking, hand in my pocket, not the firmly dressed professional, you know. So I turn back around and I walk into the Marine Corps recruiting station and I say, I don't care what you think, I'm going to be a Marine. I had no intentions of ever joining the military.
Right.
I was 17 years old. You know what I'm saying?
You couldn't even join it by yourself.
And I joined. Like I walked in there, I took the ASVAB, got my score. I was 17, so I had to go home and tell my parents to sign me up. The next day my parents showed up and they signed me up. And
they signed you up right away.
I was gone. Immediately after high school, I was gone. And never would I have thought, you know, I was going to join the military. But I think that the military set me up for success. It gave me life experiences. I've seen a lot of things. I've been through a lot of things. I've done a lot of things. You know, I was a drill instructor. I made Marines. I trained Marines in the Marine Corps Martial Arts program. I'm a first degree black belt instructor in the Marine Corps Martial Arts program. Taught over 400 Marines in the program. You know, made over 350 Marines, screaming at them as a drill instructor. Like, it was a huge part of my life. I met my daughter's mom. She's a Marine. She's recruiting right now, actually. I met her through the Marine Corps. You know, I traveled the world because of the Marine Corps. I got the best, you know, life that I could have had because of the Marine Corps, but I was living paycheck to paycheck, and I was demoing my money because I was still young, you know. But the Marine Corps has helped me a lot, and the transition into wrestling because of the Marine Corps was a lot easier than it would have been if I was just some kid from New York that wanted to join a wrestling school, you know.
So how did that happen? That transition? What brought you from the Marine Corps into wrestling? Because you're freaking natural,
right? Smooth, like you're not like you're smooth and adaptable. We all can see it.
Be honest with you, I kind of saw your career in a backwards motion. I saw you in AW first, and then I looked you up and went backwards. But the stuff that the first time I saw you, I turned to my husband. I was like, "Who the fuck is this?" And I want to know some more of him, and I want to see some more of him. And so, how did that happen? How did you?
I appreciate it. I was a sergeant in the Marine Corps at the time, and I went to Target with my daughter, and she knocked over some Blu-rays. She was 4 months at the time, but her motor skills were way ahead of time. And so I started picking them up, and one of them was The Rock's top 10 greatest matches. The Rock's like my hero. He's like the person I look up to. So I bought it. I go home. I sit my daughter in the bopper, and we're watching The Rock's matches. Her mom walks in the living room because at the time we were married. Her mom walks in the living room and she's like, "Why is my daughter watching wrestling?" Here's my daughter, 4 months old, with a bottle in her mouth, you know. And so my daughter's mom told me that she had never, you know, watched wrestling. So I looked online and I found that WWE was coming to San Diego a week later, and I was in Cali. I was like, "Oh shit, this is what a coincidence, you know?" Right. So I bought the tickets. I went. I stood up to the show, and I ran into another Marine that I knew that was trained to be a wrestler, and he told me he was trained to be a wrestler. And I laughed because I thought it was funny. I was like, "What the fuck you mean? You're training to be a wrestler? You're a Marine, bro." Like, you know, like I didn't even know about independent wrestling. I didn't know about anything. I just knew WWE because that's you know, I watched it as a kid, and when Eddie passed away, I stopped watching, you know. So I thought to be a wrestler, you had to be a college wrestler and get drafted. I thought it was like the NBA draft, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had no education on it. So he told me he was training. He gave me the, you know, the info for the school, and you know, my daughter's mom, she actually paid for like my first 3 months of wrestling training, and I started training, and you know, I tell everybody I'm not professionally trained because the school that I was with, I don't mention it anymore because they kicked me out of their school like 9 months in and like shitted on me, told me I'd never wrestle again, tried to blacklist me, all because I took a booking in another company in LA, another independent company. They were in San Diego, SoCal area, and I went to wrestle in LA at another company, another city, another area code. And I won a match up there, and they got mad and kicked me out of the school. So I don't think I'm professional, even though I have like six to 9 months of training. I wasn't really professionally trained. It was just I didn't get the actual school training like a lot of people do, you know. And so I was told I was never gonna wrestle again, and nobody wanted to book me until David Marquez gave me a call and brought me to Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. So a year in the business, I was wrestling on TV for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood as a tag team. And then booking started coming in, and then, you know, I made my debut in Mexico because Conan, shout out to Conan, saw me wrestle in San Diego and brought me to the Crash. So I opened up the Crash for 5,000 people in Mexico, Tijuana. And then I took a 2-year break because I went to go be a drill instructor. I got promoted to staff sergeant as a drill instructor. And then when I left the drill field, you know, I had more time. I went back to wrestling, you know. So I started wrestling in 2014. I made my debut October 2014. So 2 months after started training, I was debuting. And then because I was natural. It was natural for me, you know. So 2 months after training, I debuted. I wasn't the greatest, obviously, but it was enough, you know. And then at 2016. So like almost 2 years later, like towards the end of 2016, I stopped wrestling to go be a drill instructor. Then I came back 2018, like mid 2018, I came back. Started winning championships on the Indies. Went back to championships from Hollywood for TV. Just started grinding. In 2019, I started really making towns, like wrestling out of, the East Coast now. I'm in Florida. I'm in Evolve tryouts. I'm fucking wrestling in Rhode Island and New York. And, now I'm in New Jersey. I started doing like things over there. I'm back in Mexico now. Conan brought me for AAA. So now I'm wrestling at AAA.
What?
And
you don't stop.
Yeah. No. Then 2020, end of 2019, I had my New Japan tryout. Rocky Romero brought me out for the New Japan tryout. Great time. And then I separated my shoulder in December of 2019. So I separated my shoulder at an indie show in San Diego. And then literally 1 month later, I was wrestling again because I didn't want to sit out. So I forced my recovery. I didn't get surgery. I didn't get a cast. Didn't get a sling. I just
went back. Tough. You a tough radioactive poppy.
It's the radioactive, you know what I'm saying? I heal quick.
that would be a setback to some. I mean, because boom, New Japan and the injury, that sets a lot of other wrestlers back some. I mean, but if I could, FSW June 18th, if I'm correct? 18th, if I'm correct. Aren't you part of a little something with 30 men?
So
talk about it.
This month,
talk about it.
June 18th and 19th, I'm in Vegas. And shout outs to FSW for bringing me back. It's been a while. I'm going to be entering the 30-man Rumble on night 1. And then night 2, I'm wrestling Ice Williams from the No Limits Championship. So I'm going for gold. And after I win the Rumble, take Ice Williams' belt, I'll main event night 2, and I'll become a double champion when I beat Hammerstone for his title.
Boom!
2 belt Danny Limelight.
3 belts.
3 belts.
Yeah. Yo.
Yeah. So
can't wait to see
that's the goal right now. But like, last year, 2020, with the pandemic and the injury and shit, like New Japan brought me in, and AEW stuff happened. Like, it was an amazing year. That was the best year of my life professionally. I had a blast wrestling at these companies, these major companies, and I'm super grateful for the opportunities that they gave me. And it's bigger things happening. A lot of things are happening. I'm super excited because you never know what's gonna happen in life, and things. One day it's like, oh shit, what's going on? Then it's like, oh wow, it's just so much that changes. The winds and the sun sets and rises somewhere else, and it's been fucking amazing. I've been having so much fun with it, and just going with the wave. And thank you, Danny, for always interacting. Oh, don't worry, you're welcome. Limelight versus Hammerstone. When I win the 30-man,
it's happening.
I win the 30-man Rumble, I'll face Hammerstone.
Yeah, that's what I'm excited for.
After I face Ice Williams earlier in the night.
That's what I'm excited for. That's what it's. I mean, I was watching. It was one match against Nathan Bradley. Like before the match, I don't know if you remember that match, bro. You remember that match?
Yeah, I was in Texas.
Like, here's what I noticed about you. That I was like, I really like this dude because no matter what, even talking to you now, like you put a card in the ref's pocket and you told him read it right. You come to Brooklyn, bro. I'm in PA. I'm not that far from Brooklyn. I know NY cats. Like, I know it. Like, y'all, there's a way. Like, and when I talk to you, it's Danny Lime. When does Danny Limelight stop being Danny Limelight? Because all I see is Danny Limelight, bro.
Oh man, I stop being Danny Limelight when I'm at home with my daughter.
I dig it.
I'm daddy. I'm a father.
Yes.
But I feel like, and the people you ask people who've known me from the military days, they tell you like I never changed.
Right.
I've been the same person. I've been authentic to who I am. I always remember where I came from. I never think that I'm better than anybody else. I've always carried myself a certain way, and it's definitely a way that can rub people the wrong way if they don't take the time to actually get to know me. If they just judge from the outside, and I come across arrogant. I come across cocky or whatever, but when people actually take the time to figure out my life, they see like all the shit that I've been through, all that I went through, how I was brought up and the way I am. Like my only inspiration is my daughter. I don't care about nobody else outside. Like, her opinion of me is the one that matters the most to me. If you're not fucking me, feeding me, or paying my bills, I don't care about it. I don't care about it.
Like, that's bad.
I don't care about your opinion.
That's all New York.
It's my daughters. And my daughter's the one that's going to look up to me and think, okay, my dad did this differently. And there's going to be things she don't like that she'll change about herself. She has the perfect combination of me and her mom. So she's going to be great. But as far as the outside, I'm Danny Limelight always. This is who I've always been. Back in the day, like in high school, my nickname was Hollywood because I was just a certain way, like that was just and it wasn't a bad thing. I don't think being me is a bad thing.
No.
But I feel like if I wasn't me, I would hate me too. Does that make sense?
Yes.
No, well, I don't think you're arrogant.
Like, I feel like if I wasn't me, if I was somebody else watching me, I'd be tight. You know, like.
Look, like you know how Brooklyn cats are.
He drives nice cars. Oh, he parties, or he does this, or you know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. 2020 was a pandemic, and somehow he broke out. You know, like, I get it. Yeah, I'm saying, and me though, I've always been the type. I clap for everybody until it's my turn to be clapped for. I never hate. I never envious. I watch. I observe. I study. I see somebody succeeding. I ask myself, what am I not doing to get there, or what do I got to work on to get there? And that's all it should be, man. TJ Perkins is a good friend of mine, and he told me that in this business, everybody can eat without taking off anybody else's plates, and I stuck to that all the way through.
You don't have to be cutthroat.
You don't have to, but there's a lot of that. There's a lot of
definitely.
You know,
definitely.
A lot of rats, big rats. They look like dinosaurs sometimes.
Can I don't want to. You don't have to name any names.
No.
We don't have to name. We don't have to go down there.
We don't do that.
Have you experienced that? Like, because, like I said,
I'm good, baby. I'm good.
Yeah. I mean, like,
I enjoy my life. Life's too short to be mad over shit.
No, that's right. And you know what? You got to do you, because at the end of the day, you got to take care of number one, because everybody else is taking care of number one. Not to be, nasty about it, but
it's
you
real.
have to have your own back, and that's just you're in that kind of business. That same.
But
business
even now, though, like you said, why can't everybody eat? There's an abundance of talent that, like you said,
so much wrestling. There's so much wrestling happening.
So much, and so many promotions, and it's always what I say, like all that hate on social media. I'm always like, why
social
can't
media kills it for everybody. Social media is one of those things where it's good and it's bad. You gotta take the good with the bad. Yeah. I'm happy in life. Life's great. I'm enjoying it. It's beautiful out here in California.
You're loving it. You're loving life.
I'm just going with it, man, because you know what? You're here today, gone tomorrow. You never know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, YOLO.
And they'll go to your funeral. They'll tell all these great stories, and then you'll be forgotten.
That's right.
Nah,
that's just how it is.
No, that's how it won't be forgotten. It's not your name. Like, look, I think right now, based on your success and what you've proven that anybody can do what you do. Like you said, this is not a Hollywood story. It's not a Lifetime story. This is the dude who wanted it and got it. That's bottom line, flat out. Like, I mean, the story's right there.
Yeah. If you really want it, you chase it.
Right.
Danny, you're an inspiration.
You are. Like, there's
Latinos.
I swear, man, it's amazing to see what you can do, because there's a lot of Latinos that love wrestling. Like my nephews, they love wrestling. They watch AEW with me. They're half Puerto Rican.
For me, it was Eddie Guerrero. He was a Latino superstar. He was the first Latino that really became a megastar, in my opinion. Right. And then when I was growing up, there wasn't Puerto Ricans on TV like that. There wasn't many of us. And now you look at it and you see Puerto Ricans everywhere. You see Santana Ortiz, Eddie Kingston, you know what I'm saying? Like myself. It's my tag partner.
Red Velvet.
Slice Boogie and Papa Esco.
Yes. There's a lot of
Red Velvet. I think Red Velvet's Colombian though.
She's Colombian, yeah.
What?
Yes,
but there's Latinos. There's a lot of Latinos on TV doing amazing things, so.
Yes. Yes. And I'm loving it because, as a Dominican, it's hard to find even Dominican people that are wrestling.
I don't know too many Dominicans.
It's a few women in the indies, like Layla Gray and I think Marty Bell.
Oh yeah, Layla Gray, she's dope. She's a friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
I got to talk to her, so I like her a lot.
Shout
out to Layla Gray.
Hey, but no, I mean, what's next, bro? Like, what is where's the hunger? Where's the drive? What is next for Danny Line? Where's the bar? Where's the bar for you, bro?
Man, I try to set the bar, man. I try to raise the bar every time I'm in the ring. Obviously, I have a lot of work to do. There's so many talented people out there. It's going to be a while before I can consider myself one of the best in the world, But that's just what I want to be. I just want to be one of the best to ever do it. I want to be one of the most innovative wrestlers to ever do it, that people are looking at and watching matches and trying to learn from, And like I said, I have a lot of work to do. What's next? Just grind, keep doing my thing, keep shining. I believe that good things happen to good people. And what's for you? It's a plane flying right now.
Yes.
But I believe what's for you can't be taken from you. If it's meant for you, it'll be for you.
That's
so,
my line.
Whatever that is entitled, I'm ready for it, you know. But I'm not gonna wait around for it to come to me.
Chase it.
Salute.
You know what I'm saying? It's a blessing.
Yeah, just chase it. So
Right.
what, tell people what you have coming up, where people can follow you.
Yeah, man. They can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Danny Limelight. ProWrestlingTees.com/Danny Limelight. Got some new shirts up there. Cameo.com/Danny Limelight. I'm doing cameos now. So if you want a birthday message, anniversary, you want me to read a freaking, I don't know, a Valentine's Day card, I don't know, whatever. Just hit me up on Cameo. And then I got June 18th, June 19th, FSW 2-night anniversary show. I got, New Japan Strong, some stuff coming down the pipe for that. AEW, got a, AEW Dark coming up.
Yes.
And just grinding. Just grinding. There's other things, but that's yeah.
We can't wait to see so much more of you. Marcus.
Yes.
Close it up.
Boys and girls, we have had the radioactive Poppy himself literally lay it down like a fraction, keep it a grizzy. Squish, thank you as always. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe at Top Rope Squishy, excuse me, started there for a second. And also the Bird and the Villain, Danny Limelight. Little bachata there, gotta add a little soul there. How he does, yes! Top
Latin flavor. Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Danny Limelight. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Radioactive Poppy, Top Squishy, the Villain. We out.
Out. Success.
Thank you guys so much.